Today we're here with Dylan. Dylan, could you tell me a little bit about your office and what your job is in the Anglican Communion?
I will do. I'm Dylan Turner and I work at Lambeth Palace as the Anglican Communion Relations Officer. So I support Archbishop Justin in his ministry across the Anglican Communion, both by organising visits for the Archbishop and representing the Archbishop on visits and providing briefing and setting up meetings and all sorts of other things like that. Basically, no 2 days are the same, and you often think you're going to go into work and do A, B and C and end the day having done X, Y and Z. But A, B and C still have to be done.
Well, so what have you been learning so far about the Anglican Communion? How many Anglicans are there in the world?
There are 80 million Anglicans across the world, which is quite phenomenal to think about how many people are Anglican. The majority of Anglicans are based in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah. And what have you learned just in your interactions with different people? You probably met with people from around the world.
Absolutely. Well, the week after I started my job, the Lambeth conference happened. So I was immediately thrown into this where 1,500 bishops and their spouses came to Canterbury, and that was me a week in. So I met all of them, but I had to say to all of them that I had no idea what my job was at that time. But actually, I probably did in those 2 weeks 3 years of networking in that period of 2 weeks, which was quite incredible. Learning all about the differences between theological approaches across the Anglican Communion and trying to bridge those differences. Some of them are bridgeable, some of them are less so.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of politics.
Yeah.
Can you describe some, you probably met just people that you really admire. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about somebody who you've met who's surprised you, who you want the world to know more about.
This is a bit of a cheat, but it is apposite at the moment with what's going on in the Middle East. I had known Archbishop Hossam for many years before he became an archbishop, but I've got to know him a lot better in this role, and had the opportunity to go to Jordan for the synod of the Diocese of Jerusalem, and then for his installation in Jerusalem as primate of Jerusalem in the Middle East. And in Archbishop Hossam, I met a man of such spiritual depth and integrity, and he leads his diocese. They debate about things like property and finance and the stuff that we all talk about in the local church across the world, but they do that in the backdrop, and particularly at the moment of rockets firing across from in Gaza and everything that's going on there, and that there's a constant tension in the background, and of course at the moment that's writ large for them. But absolutely, he's one. Archbishop Tabo of South Africa is another inspiring person. There's just so many. We are very lucky because we get to welcome them to the Church of England's General Synod as Anglican Communion guests. And everyone that I meet, it's a real privilege to get to know, and they've all got different stories, and it's great to learn their stories.
What do you think makes the Archbishop of Canterbury effective? Like, what are his personal qualities or experiences that he's had that make him effective at his job?
I think his experience in reconciliation is something that makes him phenomenally effective. His experience when he was on the staff of Coventry Cathedral and he was taken hostage in Africa, that resilience that he has, and having been on a visit with him, he never stops and he just keeps going. I don't know where he gets that resilience from, but he just keeps going. His statesmanship is phenomenal as well, and his diplomatic skills of being able to hold everything and everyone together under a common kind of purpose, even when there is such diversity and disunity. So I think that and that was absolutely made visible during the Lambeth conference when he held that together so well.
Yeah, I know that there's so many tensions and fractures and disagreements, but I wonder if you can talk about what gives you hope these days as you look out from your position at the Anglican Communion.
What gives me hope is actually travelling around and meeting people from different parts of the Anglican Communion with different perspectives, and actually when you go to a service in the Diocese of Jerusalem and it's in Arabic, but it feels Anglican, and when you go to a service in the United States and it feels Anglican, it's what unites us, our liturgy, our history, and that sense of wanting this thing to work. Archbishop Justin says other parts of the church, other traditions, have their arguments very much behind closed doors, and just like many families, and the Anglican family often has its arguments in public. But actually we are family. We all are able to find that unity in diversity, and that's the thing that gives me hope and the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people.
Yeah, I think, I feel such a strong connection to sub-Saharan Africa, and I think the Anglican Church and the Anglican Communion is a large part of it. So it does bring us together. I like that idea of having your disagreements in public. There's nothing hidden. People know exactly where we stand. Well, we're so blessed to have you here at Grace Cathedral today.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral here in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.